Good evening. The reason that I'm here now, going to do this, is twofold. And in alphabetical order is I love Brian, and I never have done this. That's the reason. So, the point we're about to hear tonight is honest. It comes from a place of humility and pride that is unique. It is unique to the countrymen, to those who live their lives in the earth, loving their landscape and celebrating their food and wine with song and dance. Atahualpa Yupanqui is the voice of the people who live in such a way, the people of the Pampa, the people of Argentina. Humility and pride are evoked by the plains of grain, the herds of cattle, the tithes of wheat, and the majestic cordilleras. This inspired humility and pride in the people of Argentina, and these are what Atahualpa Yupanqui speaks of. He celebrated his life. He did his best to nourish and tell its truth. In this way, he did his best to protect it. Atahualpa Yupanqui told it like it is. He was not a provoker, but an evoker. Not an attacker, but a defender. An honest man. I'm not a bad criollo. I defend the honest. I've only one debility, and I'll say it loud and clear. I, with all my senses, feel I'm in love with liberty. Atahualpa Yupanqui told it like those before him. And in this long, epic poem, he turned to the tradition of the payadores. These are improvising poet-singers of the Rio de la Plata, who rhyme about what is going on around them. When the goat is cooked and the wine passed, the guitar comes out and begins the slow drone of the milonga pampeana, over which the payadores begin their improvised song. Born from the people of the land, it has become a recognized art form, one that commands respect from all of us. Casual and formal, humble and proud, evocative and honest, the song continues. The guitar gets passed, perhaps a chacarera or a samba will appear inviting dancing to begin. Or perhaps an elderly poet from the circle will sing the lamenting verses of a mellow vidala. But the payador always returns to his improvised rhymes and comments. Tonight, Brian is our payador. Several times during the poem, he will bring in Argentinian folk songs of varying rhythms and styles. These are not included in the program translations. Brian will always return to Atahualpa Yupanqui's poem, because the payada is a story that must be told, and the voice of the payador will be the narrator who, in a humble but proud manner, must tell you the way things are. Now I would like to read several stanzas from Brian's translation and give you a taste of this beautiful poetry, a sense of the story told through the poem. Afterwards, Brian will begin his performance. I hope you all enjoy the evening. Thank you. So this is the translation summary. With permission, I'll come in, even though I'm not a guest. But where I'm from, the meat is best when it's no once, but for all. I'll sing in my way when I'm full, and the grilling's at rest. I do know many will say of my boldness, what a sin, throwing my convictions in along this path that I create, but my life has had this fate, a galloper against the wind. I carry this within my blood, from great-great-grandpapa on down. People with feet upon the ground, they are those who made my breed. From 4 provinces, the Criollo seed, and some Indian to be found. Working is a wonderful thing. It's the best days in life. But one's life is lost in strife, working on another's land, laboring under the storm's hand while the rains and others pay off. The sun had hardly even risen, but the hammering had begun, and between 2 men with arms wrung by the giant bolted chunks, from the old tool heavy clunks, our hands were crudely turned to lungs. Little ranch with a grass mud roof, the housing of the sugar peeler. Amidst this terrible harsh river, there never lacked an old guitar with which the poor man found succor, singing couplets of amor. But if the couplet goes to tell us the story of the countryman who spins the water wheel with his hand of the suffering poverty, it ignites and leaves a brand like a thistle in the memory. All of that which made us happy, perhaps it will soon be forgotten. As the years advance and quicken, they begin to mute the thoughts, but the anguishes and torments are brands that always will remain. I come here from down quite low, needless to say. I'm not very high. For the poor man my song cries, and in this way I go content, because I'm in my element, being worthy just for what's mine. A man can be beat of heart, a brand be burned upon his face. His guitar may scorch and lacerate, but the ideals of his life, like firewood, they will ignite, not to extinguish or erase. The guitar's a hollow stick, and in order to play it well, a man ought to be quite full from head to toe with loosened contents, to sow eternal couplets like life can be the perfect soil. The man who sings right to the poor will not be hushed, not even dead. When it finally meets its rest, the song of the fine Christian man, there'll be no lack of a farmhand who through him it will resurrect. My guitar, where could you be? What are they like, the hands you're touching? Sleepless nights spent awake wondering, at least comforting my strength, that the song be from this earth, which they are now out of your tugging. I return to Tucumán, just to suffer once again. In the go-round, all I'd seen, many years had passed right by. Through all the hope and all the joy, through betrayals and through pain. I have walked across the earth. I have crossed the land and sea, without borders that could stop me, and in any sort of shelter. Beloved earth, I've sang together of your joy and misery. There will always be a shelter underneath the mountain's fan. And as this war continues to stand, dealing me injustices and hate, from under there I will create songs for my beloved land. Atahualpa Yupanqui.